Well, these guys are probably excited that tomorrow the Saints will be here, so they can stop looking at each other and hitting one another and practice against someone else. Should be fun. Last year we got a lot of good work in, so we're looking forward to the same thing this year.
Anthony, I didn't see Barksdale out there today. Where was Joe?
Joe was sick. He wasn't feeling well. So we kept him back at the hotel. I hope so, but I don't know.
Trevor and Justin came back today. What did you see from them? And we didn't see them go 11 on 11. Is that just precautionary?
They did a little bit individual. We wanted those guys to get out and test it so we could see where they were at. And we got a pretty good idea. So they'll probably do a little more individual, and then we just keep progressing and getting them back in to 11 on 11.
What are the chances of them getting in for the preseason game?
Like I said, I don't like to put timetables on those injuries. And I definitely don't want to put a player on the field before they're ready. So let's just wait and see, Jack.
What's going on with Tyrell?
He has some foot soreness, maybe a bone bruise or something like that, but he's going to be okay. We're just being very cautious with him because, he's had a good camp, and we don't want no setbacks.
Possible that he might not play this week.
It's possible because we have some other guys that we're looking at wide receiver, so it's possible.
In case he went off Thursday,
I don't know yet, but I asked him right away how he felt. He said he thought he'd be fine. I think he just kind of felt it a little bit.
You mentioned kind of the receiver issue. I mean, you guys have a lot of guys. In your mind, what's the best way that you guys can use? Is it 4 or 5 receiver sets? How can you maximize your talent at that position?
You can go 4 and 5 receiver sets, but we're not going to live in that world. We're not going to turn into the run and shoot. But it's always good to have some depth. And, we have one guy, 2 guys, 1.5 guys with NFL production. These other guys are strictly projections. Mike Williams haven't done a whole lot in NFL games. I love what he's doing in these camps. So, we don't want to get too far ahead in how deep we are at that position until we get into season.
That being said, you feel good about the projections
I feel good about the projections, absolutely. And we definitely going to use them all. But it's good to have depth there because those guys, they put a lot of miles on their legs, and those guys get the soft tissue injuries and this next man up.
With the new helmet rule, are you nervous about Gordon and the way his style of run and Eckler about lowering the helmet?
Well, yeah, I'm worried about Gordon because he was the poster child of striking people with the crown of his helmet. And he's done a heck of a job this camp of getting his shoulder pads up, getting his head up, and taking a side rather than going down the middle and striking people with the crown of his helmet.
Were there any calls so far in the preseason that have maybe you questioned a little bit?
It's not my, I'm sure, everybody's questioning calls, I think, right now. But all the calls in our games, I think, have been fine. And I think the officials are really trying to emphasize it right now. I don't know if you're going to see this many flags in regular season, but right now we have to send a message to our players. This is how we're going to play the game.
And then we've seen you guys had a couple of days of clean work with them last year. Obviously, you guys got into it a little bit with the Rams. We've seen around the league some scuffles and stuff like that.
A lot.
A lot of them, it seems like.
Yeah.
What do you say to your players to kind of try to guard against that? And is it inevitable when you do 2 days of practice like this?
I don't think so. I think guys go out and last year we did it. We had good, clean physical practices last year against this group. I expect the same thing, Dan. I know Sean Payton. I've known him for a long time. I know what he's telling these guys, and I know what I'm telling my players. So I don't expect any fights or anything like that tomorrow.
Anthony, do you guys have clarity in terms of your coaching points on the helmet rule, both on offense and defense?
Oh, absolutely. And we've been teaching it all season. So I don't think the NFL could have been any clearer, with the examples that they gave us and in the literature, the wording. So it's just different. And anytime there's a major change or something different, it's going to take some time before people adjust to it.
So what you're teaching is matching up to what you're seeing being called on the field in other games, not just script?
Say that again?
In terms of what you're teaching on offense and defense to avoid the penalties, is that what you're seeing in terms of what's being called on game day?
Yeah, yes, we had one call last week, and, Jalen caught the guy with the crown of his helmet. And, if you can take a side, if you can strike with your head up, that's what we're trying to teach. That's what we're trying to promote. That is easier said than done when a guy's playing full speed. So I think a lot of these are going to be hard to call in real speed. But right now, I do believe that we're erring on the side of precaution, just trying to emphasize it.
Do you think it'd be helpful to have replay for those calls?
Yeah, that would be helpful, but we don't want to slow the game down too much as well.
All right, thanks, guys.
Okay. All right.
Sorry, I couldn't make it. So as to prove on the whole that it can be.
Very deep question. There's a lot of thought involved with that. We've got a good group of receivers, and I think that you get a chance to evaluate them every day. We've got a good secondary, and going against our guys in practice, you get a good chance to see kind of how they can handle those situations. But there's no substitute for the preseason games. So that's a spot that's not always easy to find guys that you can get some depth. So to have guys competing for spots on our team and doing a good job, it really helps us. So it's a fortunate situation to be in for our team, and it's going to be exciting over the next couple of weeks to see how these guys progress.
If you guys end up keeping, say, 6 receivers, are there ways to use that many guys, or is that not realistic?
Well, I mean, if you're talking about having 6 active on game day, those are all decisions that are based on where you are as a team. So to sit here and say we'd have 6 active, you never know.
Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I think some of that obviously is reflective of what they can do on special teams, and that's an area too that probably Coach Stewart would be better served to talk about. But I don't think you can have enough of those guys, and it's good to be able to see them do a lot of different things.
How much is Bouncy helping you in the run game?
He's a good player. You watch him from afar, and you think that he's a good player, but he's so much more than that. Physically, he's a good player, but the leadership that he brings, his knowledge, those kind of things really help, because that line, that group of guys, there's a chemistry with them. The really good ones have a strong chemistry, and Mike really contributes a lot to that. Russell did a great job with that. We got Feeney, who's coming on as a young guy. Schofield played for us last year, and then Joe's a part of that. And then we got some guys that have been here that have played for us, and Tevy and Spencer. When you add a guy like Mike, who's been very good in this league, has a good reputation, and then he comes in and he's the first one in the building. He's here early. He works hard. He never wants to miss practice. Always got a great attitude. Really helps forge that chemistry with the group, and it helps us. We've been truly excited with Mike and having him and everything that he's done.
Can you get to some runs that maybe you didn't get to last year based on having him?
There's different situations where his athleticism really helps. And, we try to do a number of different run schemes so that it's not just dependent upon one component, which would be having a center that can move. But certainly in some of our sets, his ability to even pull from the center position, which is not easy to do, and be effective doing that can really help us. So, a lot of it's all dependent on what fronts we're playing and the opponents we're playing. But there's no question that his mobility really helps us. But he's got good strength in the pocket too, and good technique. And that's something that's important, because a lot of times you get a guy that has really good mobility and he can't hold up to the big nose or the big 3 technique that's slanting into him. And Mike's done a good job with that. So we're very fortunate to have him.
Has Gino separated himself some through these first 2 preseason games?
I think they've both done well. I mean, they've gotten about equal snaps. It's been in different situations, but they both made plays. It's one of these things that's going to go for the next couple of weeks, and that's what you want. You're getting to see these guys compete, and you're getting to find out a lot about them. I like the way both of them have competed and played.
Was there a point where it seemed like the playbook clicked more with Gino coming in his first year?
As opposed to what? I mean,
was there a point in the offseason where you saw him, saw the playbook and everything kind of click for him?
He's been in the league for a little while, so a lot of concepts are similar. It's just trying to get the terminology associated with them, and he's worked at it very hard. He's come in there and studied it, and but he's still not as proficient in it as he would like to be. But he's made tremendous strides, and he's doing a really good job.
Sean Colton is a guy that
he has, he didn't have a lot of flash plays against the Seahawks, but he was consistent, and that's what we needed to see. When you got a guy like Hunter and you evaluate your tight ends compared to Antonio and Hunter, sometimes it gets hard, especially for a young guy because those guys are so talented. And Sean has really done well as far as coming along as a tight end. From where he was, in fact, watching some of the things from the last year's Seattle game and watching this year's Seattle game from the preseason, it's a huge difference just in where he is. And that's good. That's what he needed to do. So, this will be a good test for him this week because these guys do a lot of different things. The Saints do. But, he's definitely trending the right way and doing a good job.
Coach Parsons has been a little bit more. What's it been like getting him back in the rotation, and how's he going out the process of acclimating him to missing the entire year?
Well, I give him a lot of credit because he's been there every day, even in the off season. It's never easy when you have an injury like that and you're not practicing or you're not working out with the guys to get into that room with them because it's uncomfortable. But he's really been there every day, been committed. It's nice to see him get back on the field and do some things. So, we really are excited about Forrest, but we don't know a lot about Forrest because we haven't seen him do a lot on the field yet. But everything that we see from the short time he's been back working and what he's done, we're really excited about.
Coach, what do you think Keenan Allen's brought? Obviously on the field, excellent player, but leadership role?
I think whenever you have a player that can make the plays, the splash plays, the critical plays that he does, that knows where to line up, what to do, helps direct the other players, understands the scheme, that helps you as an overall, as an offense, because it sets the tone. And he's a guy that works at it. One of the things that really is impressive about Keenan is watch him in individual, watch him when he's working every day. It's the same thing. He works really hard. I've been around a couple of really good players, one of which was Larry Fitzgerald, and the way he works is similar to the way Larry worked, and you see in a high-level performer like that, you see those similar tendencies. It's exciting to see that.
Thanks, Wade.
You got it.
He already said everything.
Yeah, shouldn't be any questions
What he said.
on the game field.
Has it been a major change from last year to this year with the techniques?
There's a couple new techniques. I don't think it was a major change. Just a couple new things that we can add to our game. Just implement it into what we already got going on.
Like coaches a lot of energy too. Does that help keep kind of the dog days?
Yeah, I think so. Just bringing that energy to just boosting our motivation, our inspiration to come out here and practice another day, back to back, and just keep going. So.
Keenan, Wiz said that you have that you work out like Larry Fitzgerald, that you're similar to him in that aspect. What does that mean for your offensive coordinator to talk to you and hold you in such high regard?
I'm doing my job right. Speaks volumes. I like to work. My work ethic is there, and I think it shows on game day.
You have these couple days coming up with New Orleans. What do you try to get out of these joint practices?
Just something different. Going against other guys every day. Now we get to go against another defense. So compete, see where we at, and make some plays.
Is it good that it comes this late to sort of break up the monotony?
It's cool. I wish it could have been 2 weeks ago, 1 week ago. So I ain't tripping.
Why earlier instead of later in terms of having the joint practice?
Just to get it out the way. Shoot, I don't know. We're at the end of preseason, end of training camp. So.
So you'd rather be kind of focused on the regular season
Yeah.
now instead of just
Did you watch any of the videos of any of the fights around the league? It seemed like there were a lot of them this year when teams have gone.
I seen them. Yeah, I seen them.
How do you? Is that inevitable when you put a bunch of guys out there and compete against two different teams?
Yeah, it's hard. We out here competing. Everybody trying to make a play, and it gets physical. Just gotta be able to take it. So.
Keenan, what have you seen from Marshawn Lattimore? Good up and coming corner. What do you think about him?
He's pretty good. He had a great season last season. Some great things. So.
Are you ready to fight him? This is what we're
Not at all. No. No.
You guys had a scuffle last year with the Rams, but it seems like everything with the Saints was pretty clean out here. What was the difference between those two sessions?
I think just being professional. Just understand what we out here doing. Everybody out here trying to get better. Like I said, we out here competing. So just everybody be professional. Shouldn't be a problem. Appreciate it.
Thanks, man. not
your
ready
card.
for it. He's not ready for it.
Dan, you should wear a referee.